Hello everyone, welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful and exciting tutorial, we're trying to see how to use Streamlit ST-chat input and then ST-chat message together with sessions to be able to build a very interactive LLM chatbot, right? So we'll be trying to see how to build something very cool. So this is what we did previously. You can check the links below for more. Now let's see how to build it. So the idea behind working with our chat widget is like this. So we have the ST-chat input that allows you to be able to type in something, right? So it's an input area, as you can see from here, right? And we also have the ST-chat message, which is this particular widget, which encapsulates the previous messages, right? If I click on it and I inspect this one, you can see that this is a div container, right? If I click on this and I go with this, you can see that it's a ST-chat. It's a div, right? So that is the next feature, and this is just an input. Okay. So how do you use these two features, right, together with session state to be able to build a very nice app? So first, this is the workflow. So we have the ST-chat input in which we are going to type in our text, and once the user types in the text, we are going to do two things. First, we are going to use the ST-chat message to show what was typed, and we're also going to store that particular prompt or input in our session state so that we can have a history. Then we can view it using the ST-chat messages continuously. But in this case, because we are using a large language model and want to do some NLP processing, once the user type in some chat input, we do two things. We first send the chat, the result or the prompt to the chat messages so that the user sees what he typed, and then we also append it to session state, and then we also process it. So once we process, we also send the result of the processing from the large language model to the session state, and then we can view it over, right? So let's see how to build it. So I'll just go back again to my workspace. So we are using Streamlit version. Is a version that we are using 1.24. So from here we can have this feature. So let's, in case you don't have it, you can just install it with this pip install Streamlit. Then you can upgrade, right, to get the newest version. Perfect. And you also have to install your GPT4. So pip install GPT4All, or you can use OpenAI in case you want, right? Okay, let's create our first app.py, and then I'm going to open it with VS Code here, and I'm going to start writing some code. So just going to import Streamlit as ST. That is the first thing we need. Yeah, and then we don't need a container to put the entire stuff. We don't need to put inside forms. We don't need to put inside sidebar. We just have to put it straight away, right? So first we are going to create our prompt, which is going to be my prompt, which in this case is going to be st.chat input. Then you can just put in say as something, right? That's going to be our prompt. Then we're going to say that if there is a prompt, I want you to display what was typed, right? So we go with st.chat message, right? So the st.chat message allows you to be able to get the entire message in a very nice format in this option that we saw previously, in this one, right? In this nice div. Okay, so that is it, and it takes in some arguments. So one of the argument text is the name, so it can be a user, and then you just go with my st.write my prompt. So let's save it and let's run it with and see. So I'm just going to go back here, then Streamlit run app.py. It's supposed to be app.py, and it's running perfectly as you can see. So let's close the old one, and you see that we have our as something here. Let me position side by side. Perfect. So you see that we have it side by side, right? So the as something is as what we saw here. So if I type in hello, you can see that we have the hello here, and we have this icon here. So this icon is coming from this name here, right? So there is user and there is also assistant, right? So as we already saw earlier on, there is also assistant. And if I go back again, let's always run the app. If I go back and I type in this cool, so we have this is cool with this icon of the user and this one of the bot. You can also change the icon to your own, either to an image or something, so which is going to be like this. So you have an image, you can just give it any name, so bot, then it has another argument called avatar, right? Then here you can just put in an image, or you can put in an emoji, right? So I'm going to put in one emoji that I have somewhere, so you see the difference between the two, which I think I have here. No, let's put in an emoji. I'm trying to fetch one from my other screen, and this is it, right? So if I save it and I type in again, so that we have them. So that is how to add a different image for your chat message, right? Perfect. So let's pick only the one for the user for now. Now we are finished with this session, the chat input and the chat message. How do we get our messages back? So we'll be appending the result here, right, in our session state, which is going to be from here. So we just need to get our session state. So we need to first create a storage, right? And the storage is going to be my if message. We can call it that if message is not in my st.session state. Then if there is nothing like that, right, I want you to create one dot messages, and I want it to be a list, right? So I can actually see whatever thing that is being there. So let's display the chat history. So how do we do that? So because we are storing everything inside our session state, we can now display it back again in a collection, right? So in that case, to do that, just go with st.write my st.session state dot messages, right? And let's save it and see. So I'll go back to the application. Now see that it's a list as we had it here, and it's empty. There's nothing here. If I type in this is first, so this is first is shown, this is second, right? And now because we have been storing, we have our session state and there's nothing there, right? But we can't see the results. Nothing is being stored, right? So that is where the next argument can. We have to append whatever is we are typing, our input, to our sessions state when you type it. So it's going to be here. So once I type it, whatever I'm typing, just a prompt, I want to now append or add to storage, right? So how do I do that? I just go to my st.session state dot messages, right? And because this is a list, we are appending. If it's a dictionary, you would have done a different way. And what we are appending is that we are appending a dictionary to it, right? So the append is going to be this option. We have our row, which we want to change per the option. So as we already saw, there is a row called user, there's another row called assistant, and also want to have another key called content, which takes in my prompt. So this is where we save it. So we are saving it here, right? Now let's try it again. So this works. This is try 2. So now the first one is there, and then this is the second one. Now if I go back again, I add this is third. So now this is trial 2 has been appended to it. So that is how we store all that we are typing, right? We are keeping track of our chat. We can also use a database in case you want, because once you close this, you lose everything. Once you open a different tab, you lose everything, right? Because it's a session state, but you can store it inside a database. Perfect. So since we have gotten it in this nice format, we want it to come in a nice format, not just this, right? Because it's not user friendly. How do we do that? We can now display it in a different way with this option. So for my message in my st.session state.messages, right? I want to use the chat message container. I want to pass in that particular message, and this is a list and it's a dictionary, so it can also be with this dot get. Then I'll pass in the row here, right? If I go with this, if there is, it's going to provide it there. Then I can just go with st.write. It can be marked down, it can be anything. Then I'll just go with my message dot get. I want to get the content. So you can use a dictionary. Instead now it has converted because this is a dictionary, right? So now it has converted this from this to this option, right? Very cool. So you can either use this option here, or you can use the other notation, right? Any of them is going to work. Perfect, because I'm storing it as a dictionary. That is why we can do this option. Okay, so let's take off the previous one to make it look nicer. So it's still stored there. Now how do we combine our large language model? So we'll be adding GPT4All to help us with that. So in case you don't have it, you can just install it. So this is going to be from GPT4All. You can use OpenAI, but we are using GPT4All. Import GPT4All. Right, we don't want to connect to the internet yet. Then I want to initialize the LLM model. The LLM model methodology. So GPT is going to be my GPT4All. Then it takes in the model name and then the model part, right, which I already have. So I'm going to, in case you don't have a model, you can just go to here. So GPT4.io, and there are several of them. There are several models that you can download. See, there are lots, right? This is the current one. And the one I'm using is an old one. So in case you want, you can just download this one, right? That's the current one. But what I'm using is a very old one because it's always updating. I'm using this, I think this one. But you can upload any of them and use it. So I'll just paste the direct path to it. You can also use LangChain, right, or OpenAI, and it's still going to work, right? So I'm picking it from here. So that's the model I'm using, right? You can get some there. Perfect. So this is going to initialize my GPT model. Perfect, right? And we have it here. So just initialize it. Perfect. So how do we process it? So the next thing we're going to do is that you are going to, so now we have gotten everything working. So this is going to be the user, what the user is typing, right? Immediately we also need to process it, process with the LLM, right? Or maybe NLP package or tool or something. So it's going to be my result, which is going to be my GPT.chat completion. If you have an agent, you can also apply it here. Then here is going to go with the same option that I had here. So I'll just open this, copy the same option here, or something similar, which is going to be my completion, which is in a list of a dictionary, right? So the role, this time I'm not going to call it as user. I want to give this role as assistant, right? It's because it's a bot. Then the content is going to be the prompt that we have it from here, right? Perfect. And then I can now get the result. So response is going to be my result. Then it comes as a choice, so it's going to be my choices. I have a video on it, so you can just check it out. then 0 as the first response. Then because it has a lot of information it's given, then message. Then the next one is going to be my content. Right, perfect. So this is how I'm going to store the response. Perfect. Now we have processed it, but we also need to store it inside our database, right? We are processing it, we have to also store it there so that I can keep track of it. So in that case, we just go back here and then let's store response, which is going to be my same thing we did. So we're going to append, same option here, but this time we are not appending it as this, we are appending it as my assistant, so that is different. Or we can also make it as user if you want, or we can make it as assistant. And the content is going to be content, and then the prompt now is going to be my response. Perfect. We have stored it. We also need to show the user what was there. So we're just going to display it again to the user after it has been finished processing and just stored it. So we can now display response. Right, from AI chat. So how do we do that? We're just going to go back. Let's make it like this. So let's use Markdown for this, and I'll put in the particular response. So response, and let's change this one from this to assistant. So because this is assistant and this is user, in our storage it's going to show the different ones, and immediately if the response is returned, we store it here and then it's returned to the user here, right? So let's put it side by side and see what you have done so far. I hope you are enjoying this. I hope I'm not talking too fast. Apologies for my accent. Maybe another time I'll speak a different language. Maybe patom. Okay. Very cool. Okay, so let's see whether it's going to work. So if I come back here and I type in hello, or let's not type in hello, let's say what is machine learning. If I go back with this, now it's processing it. What is machine learning was sent as a user, and behind the scene my model is analyzing it, right? And it's going to return the result, right? Because of this option here. Otherwise we have to refresh before we get it. So yeah, perfect. Now machine learning model refers to the study of algorithms, so it processed it and now just given us our result. We can also add it more, and then what is NLP in computer science. So there's NLP in philosophy. So now it's NLP in computer science, that is natural language processing, not neurolinguistic programming. So it's going to analyze it. You can see that it's running. Then it's going to return our result. I think the next option we will see if we can add a spinner to it, right? What are some examples of NLP techniques used for natural language syntax? So that is not what I asked of. So it depends on how performant your model is. So use the latest one, or you can also use GPT4All, right, from OpenAI. So what you have done so far is that you have seen how to use these 4 features together with a large language model to build a very simple application in Streamlit, right? So the workflow was that when the user types in something, we take the input as prompt, then we store it, right, in our session states to keep track of it, to keep track of all those things, and then we use this chat message to display it in a nice format. Then we send a prompt to our large language model as response. We store it here, and then we make it better, we make it look nicer. The reason we are using this is that if I go back here and I just go with my, let's say, let me show you what I mean. st.write the result, and I save it. Right, you're going to see that it's not going to be very friendly. If I go with what is a large language model, if I go with this, what's a large language model, if the result is supposed to come, right, you're going to see that the result is very verbose, right? So it's taking some time for it to come. So after it has finished process, you're going to see the result. And as you can see, this is the entire result, right? So this is what came. So this is the result. So the model, which was being used, the usage, the choices, the message, the role, and the content. That explains why I selected the choices key, the first item, the message key, the row, right, as you can see. So that's why I use this option, so to make sure that you are aware of why I use this, right? That's why I brought this. Okay, so that is to make it beautiful, right? This is not user friendly to show the user all of these things. So that is how to build a simple application using Streamlit, GPT4All, or can be OpenAI, and then session state, as well as chat input and chat message. So the workflow is going to be the same for every application like that. You have your chat input, you receive it, you store your chat input, and you display it with chat message. Then you do your processing with OpenAI, with LLMs, or any other stuff. So thank you for watching the tutorial, and see you another time. Stay blessed. And check the links below for more.